The world is changing faster than you can imagine. And the most dramatic transformation is unhappening in the heart of our cities or the jungles of the Amazon. It's happening at the top of the world in the vast frozen expanse of the Arctic. For centuries, this region was a fortress of ice, impenetrable and remote. But now, that fortress is melting. And as the ice disappears, it's revealing a prize so immense it's triggering a new global power struggle. This isn't just about polar bears and rising sea levels. This is about power, money, and the future of our planet. This is the story of the Arctic gold rush. Every second, tons of ancient ice break away and dissolve into the ocean. It's a silent crisis, one that we see in time lapses and scientific reports. But what we don't see is what lies beneath. Hidden under the ice caps are some of the world's last great untapped reserves. We're talking about an estimated 90 billion barrels of oil, vast fields of natural gas, and critical rare earth minerals, the very elements that power our smartphones, electric cars, and advanced defense systems. The total estimated value, a staggering $13 trillion. More than money, the melting ice is opening up something even more valuable: new, faster shipping lanes. The Northern Sea Route, for example, could slash the travel time between Europe and Asia by up to 40%. Imagine what that means for global trade. Less time, less fuel, more profit. The economic pull is irresistible. Climate change hasn't just warmed the planet. It's unlocked a treasure chest at the top of the world. And now, the great powers are racing to claim the key. At the forefront of this race is Russia. The Arctic isn't just a part of Russia's backyard. It's a core piece of its national identity and economic future. With the world's longest Arctic coastline, Russia has been methodically and aggressively expanding its presence. Over the last decade, it has reopened dozens of old Soviet-era military bases, built new deep-water ports, and launched the world's largest fleet of nuclear-powered icebreakers. These aren't just for show. These bases are armed with advanced radar systems and long-range missiles, creating a formidable shield across the north. For Moscow, controlling the Northern Sea Route isn't just an option. It's a strategic necessity, a toll booth on a future global superhighway. But Russia isn't alone. Thousands of miles away, another global power has declared its ambitions. China, a nation with no Arctic territory, has ingeniously branded itself a near-Arctic state. It's a bold geopolitical claim, and they're backing it up with action. Beijing has invested billions into its Polar Silk Road initiative, funding scientific research, building its own icebreakers, and seeking partnerships with Arctic nations. Chinese shipping vessels are already making test voyages through these new northern waters. Its strategy is clear. They don't want to be left out in the cold. They see the Arctic as crucial for their future energy security and global trade dominance. They are playing the long game, positioning themselves to be a key player in a region where they have no natural claim. This influx of military and commercial activity has set off alarm bells across the West. NATO is waking up to a new, chilly front line. Countries like the United States, Canada, Norway, and Denmark are scrambling to catch up. They are conducting more frequent and larger-scale military exercises in the region, testing submarines under the ice, flying strategic bombers over the North Pole, and reinvesting in their own long-neglected Arctic capabilities. The atmosphere is tense. What was once a domain of scientific cooperation is rapidly turning into a space of military posturing. Every new icebreaker launched, every new base activated is a move on a global chessboard. The race for Arctic dominance is not just a Cold War. It's a rapidly heating one. The question is no longer if a conflict could happen in the Arctic, but when. While the great powers focus on treasure maps and military strategy, the true cost of this gold rush is being paid by the planet itself. The Arctic is the Earth's air conditioner. The white ice reflects sunlight back into space, regulating global temperatures. As it melts, the darker ocean water absorbs more heat, creating a devastating feedback loop that accelerates warming across the globe. This isn't a future problem. It's happening now. The melting permafrost is releasing massive amounts of methane, a greenhouse gas far more potent than carbon dioxide, further speeding up climate change. The ecosystems here are incredibly fragile. For thousands of years, species like polar bears, walruses, and seals have depended on the sea ice for their survival. Now, their world is literally melting away beneath their feet. Increased shipping brings the risk of oil spills, noise pollution that disrupts marine life, and the introduction of invasive species. An oil spill in these icy remote waters would be catastrophic and nearly impossible to clean up. We are pushing one of the Earth's last pristine wildernesses to the brink of collapse. The indigenous communities who have called the Arctic home for millennia, whose cultures are intricately woven with the ice, are on the front lines of this crisis. Their way of life is under direct threat. The pursuit of wealth beneath the ice is destroying the very foundation of life above it. We are sacrificing a vital global ecosystem for short-term economic gain. Looking ahead to the period between 2026 and 2030, the trajectory is clear and alarming. Scientists predict that we could see the first completely ice-free Arctic summer within this decade. This isn't a distant forecast. It's on our doorstep. When that happens, the Northern Sea Route and the Northwest Passage won't just be viable. They'll become primary arteries of global commerce. We will see a surge in commercial shipping traffic with cargo ships, tankers, and cruise liners charting these new, shorter routes. This economic boom will further intensify the geopolitical competition. With more ships in the water, the potential for friction increases dramatically. Imagine disputes over transit rights, disagreements over environmental regulations, or accidents in these crowded and challenging waters. Russia is already asserting its right to control and charge tolls for passage through the Northern Sea Route, a claim disputed by the United States and other nations who see it as an international waterway. How will these disputes be resolved? Will it be through diplomacy or through a show of force? As nations continue to build up their military presence, the risk of miscalculation grows. A minor incident, a collision between a military vessel and a commercial ship, or a dispute over fishing rights could quickly escalate into a major international crisis. The Arctic is transforming from a frozen desert into a potential flashpoint, where the interests of nuclear-armed powers intersect. The radar screens are lighting up, and the world is holding its breath. So we are left with a profound choice. The ice is melting and the treasure is there for the taking. Should we exploit these resources, chasing the promise of $13 trillion and faster trade routes, accepting the environmental cost and the risk of conflict as the price of progress? Or should we protect the Arctic at all costs, declaring it a global commons, a sanctuary for science and nature, off limits to drilling and militarization, in an effort to preserve what's left of our planet's climate stability? There is no easy answer. But as the ice continues to disappear, it's a decision we can no longer afford to ignore. The future of the Arctic will define the future of our world. What we decide to do at the top of the planet will echo across the globe for generations to come. If this story sparked a new perspective, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the issues shaping our world.